We're breaking all the rules of saddle making etiquette. We're fiberglassing these skirts. I'm using a product called Sun-Rez. They typically use this stuff for doing surfboards and that kind of stuff. What makes this different than other fiberglass resins is this resin stays open or unhardened for almost indefinitely, I guess. And then as soon as you expose the resin to UV rays, you can either do it with natural UV rays outside, or you can have a sun tanning lamp. I would use mine, but my wife is under the sun tanning lamp right now. So you paint the resin on, get a pretty thick coat. I've already got 3 layers of resin I painted on the skirts so that I have a good base on which to apply my fabric. So the fabric looks like that. This is what I think they call random or blown fabric, meaning it's just a mishmash of different directions. Unlike this cloth, which has a direction to it, it's actually a weave. To paint some more resin on here, you'll see the glass turn sort of dark colored, like the color underneath of it, and that tells you that you have penetrated the glass with resin. And when you get it all dark, then you're ready to put it outside in the sunshine, let it cure, or wherever you're going to put it in order to let it cure. You see those white spots coming up? That tells you there's air captured underneath, and your goal is, before you set this out to harden, that you get all of that stuff out of there. And be careful as you're putting on resin, because it wants to run out from under the fabric as well, because you got quite a bit of cloth and quite a bit of resin on there. You don't want it running over the side of your skirts and getting on the front of your, in my case, in the front of the carving. All right, something I wanted to show you. I've got my first layer of cloth down, and you can see there's kind of some white highlights visible. That's because I ran the sander over it, so there's no real rough spots. Okay, we're going to lay down one more layer of glass. As you can see here, this is the matte style. In other words, it has a woven texture to it. All right, the skirts are glassed. I've glued a 1/8 inch thick layer of foam on the bottom side, and you'll see why in not too long. Once it was glued on, I took my straight knife and I cut it off just like you would sheepskin. Then I went over the wire wheel. Yes, I broke another law of saddle making. I took a wire wheel to my saddle and I beveled all the edges of my foam so it just ran out to nothing. Then I took a piece of 60 grit sandpaper. So here's what I'd tell you about sanding edges. Rather than going back and forth, which leaves the edge very, very fuzzy and hard to get a nice shine on, I just pull the paper towards me, or pull the sanding block, whatever you're using, towards me. It leaves me with a much nicer edge to deal with.